What's up, y'all? It is episode 23 of the Uriah Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, JJ. And if there's any mothers right now watching this episode, I just want to say happy Mother's Day. If it wasn't for you moms, it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't be where I am today. Mom, thank you so much for bringing me into this world, and I'm very happy you're here. But without further ado, you guys already know that this show is sponsored by Uriah Marketing. Head over to our website, uriahmarketing.com, get your free ebook, and then also book a free strategy call with me, JJ. What that strategy call is all about, we would build you a custom marketing blueprint plan that will help you increase your revenue as well as bring you in more quality leads. Whether that's commercial loans or refis or FHAs, VAs, we're going to help you get to where you want to be. Promise you guys, I can guarantee there will be no selling on the call. You can get your custom marketing blueprint plan for free. As today, as requested, special shout out to Brian Saviano, one of our listeners. He asked about the perfect webinar, and this is something that I use by Russell Brunson, and it's really good. So today I'm going to show you guys how to build a webinar and what you could put in a webinar. I honestly think this is going to be one of the best episodes ever. I really want you guys to use these tactics, these skills. So if you haven't done so already, grab your pen and paper. If you guys are watching on YouTube, I might be taking some notes on the board so you can just watch. If you're listening on the podcast, just go ahead and grab your pen and paper, or you can just re-listen to this thing again. Don't forget, you guys, to subscribe to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook, okay, and other social media platforms as well. Other than that, you guys, let's get right into it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to cover the intro of the webinar. We're going to cover the content. And then we're going to cover the outro. Okay, so 3 things we're going to do today. Intro, content, outro. This is going to be very important. All right, so I got my little notes here so I can follow along. Last week I spoke on the podcast and I said, I would love to see, a webinar online for a mortgage pro, which is that's giving value, something that's evergreen. For those of you who love giving FHA seminars, for those of you who like going to, going to realtors and teaching them, hey, here's what to do when you get a first-time home buyer, and here's how we need you to approach them or whatever. This episode right here is going to be perfect for you because this is something that's going to be evergreen. No longer, we live in a digital age now where you don't have to be in person to do things. I mean, I'm digital. I'm reaching out people all over America. I'm all over Canada and across the world as well, right? So this is something that you're going to really want to pay attention to. Okay, so intro. So there are 5 things that you need to know about the intro. 1 is the bold promise. 2 is the hook to the end. 3, you're going to command attention. 4, you're going to qualify yourself. And 5, you're going to future pace. So number 1, like I just did to you guys, bold promise, right? I promised that I was going to tell you guys about the webinar. Someone did ask for it. Now we're doing it. So the promise, let's just say this webinar that you're going to create, let's just say it's going to be an FHA webinar. First time home buyers webinar. Okay? The promise that you probably make to them is, hey, I can guarantee that we can get you a home within 90 days if your credit score is XYZ and if your income is XYZ, right? So let's say if you're making $60,000 and your credit score is 720, to be honest, if you're making $60K a year and your credit score is 720, you can probably get a home within a month, right? So let's just use those numbers. So the bold promise is if you're making $60,000 a year and you have a $720 credit score, we promise if you follow these steps, you can get a home within 30 days. That would be a bold promise. But the way you hook them to keep them in the loop, you gotta have an open loop. Don't close it. Okay? So you gotta be like, but there are 3 things to make this happen in order to get the home in 30 days. So if you don't watch this webinar till the end, then chances are you're probably not going to get your home within 30 days. You guys see what I did there? So I said, hey, here's the bold promise. If you're making $60K a year or more, you have a 720 credit score, you can get a home in 30 days. But if you don't follow these specific steps, these 3 steps, you will not get to where you want to be in 30 days. So now I'm forcing them to watch this webinar and stay till the end, okay? Now, you got to establish credibility in your positioning, right? You got to command attention. Like I just told you guys, grab a pen and paper, right? I told you guys, listen, if you're in the webinar, if you're watching the YouTube video, I might be taking notes, but if you're on SoundCloud or iTunes, grab a piece of pen and paper. And that's the same thing that you guys should be doing on this webinar as well, too. So you could say something like, listen, my time is important, your time is important. This webinar is going to be probably around 30 to 45 minutes. I want you to really pay attention. If you haven't done so already, grab your pen and paper, turn off all cellular devices, and let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Okay? Now once you've commanded attention, you got to qualify yourself. Okay, so for example, you guys already know I'm qualified, right? So I already have an ebook. I've been around for some time. I've been around for like 5+ years, running social media ads for mortgage originators, right? So for you, for example, you could be like, hey, I'm a loan officer for 30 years. I have helped several, families get a home within, within, I don't know. I've helped 100 families within 5 years to get a home. Whatever it is that you would use to qualify yourself. I'm in the President's Club or whatever it is. If that's really important to me, that's not really important. I don't really care about that. But it is very important in the loan officer world, right? So use that. Use it to advantage and qualify yourself, okay? So that's 4 things. So far, we've done bold promise. Number 2, we've done hook to the end. Number 3, we said command attention. Number 4, we said qualify yourself. And number 5, future pace. Okay, I love doing these when I run webinars. I love doing these. So I paint the picture for the customer, for that FHA, right? So here's what you would do. What would your life look like if you were living in your dream home? You had your own parking space. You didn't have to worry about your neighbors because you live in an apartment. What would your life look like? All these things, sell the dream to them. What are the pain points of living in an apartment, right? You might not, if you're living in New York, right? I'm in New York often. Or if you're living in Boston, it's hard to find parking. Your neighbors are loud. It smells like cigarettes. It's the rent increases every year. But what would your life look like if you owned your own home and didn't smell like cigarettes? You had your own parking space. You had peace of mind. You know what I mean? There's more than one bathroom to use if you have a family, right? So use that, sell them the dream. That's the intro. You guys should follow these 4 or 5 steps. Very important. Bold promise, hook to the end, command attention, qualify yourself, and 5, future pace. Give them the dream. What would their future look like if they got a home? What would make it easier? All right, now we've done the intro. Now we're gonna move into the content. Okay. So, for example, this is where the bulk of your webinar will be. This is where your FHA presentation would be, right? So it could be the one thing. I always, again, I'm following Russell Brunson's script, and this is a really good script. There's a thing called the one thing. Secret number 1, secret number 2, and secret number 3. Secret number 1 is back in the day, people always thought, well, it used to be 20%. You had to put 20% down to build a home. To put a down payment on a home, not to move home. To put a down payment on a home. The secret number 2, I wouldn't know what it is. And secret number 3, you would have to figure that out as well. Or it could just be one thing. Or I would say find 3 things. What are 3 common things that people believe? Like secret number 1 would be 20% down. Maybe secret number 2 could be, you have to have a 720 credit score to buy a home. And then maybe secret number 3 is, man, I'm really good at saving. I make $40,000 a year, but because I don't make that much a year, because my income's not good enough, but my credit score is super high, I can't be able to get a home. Those are going to be 3 things that people may have issues with. I mean, I run ads for mortgage pros. I'm not a mortgage pro myself, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, but I understand the niche well enough and I understand what you guys go through. So what are 3 things that would stop people from buying a home, whether it's your area? I know, and it's really weird. We've ran ads in Iowa, we've ran ads in Chicago, and people think differently. People in the city think you have to have 20% down. But people like in like the Midwest, they know you don't have to have 20% down. It's like a 3% down FHA loan, or I know some of you run conventional loans for 1% down, where 2% comes from the lender, the borrower. 2% boost comes from the borrower if you have a 720 credit score, right? I don't know all the logistics of that, but there's different programs out there, right? So whatever those 3 things that people would have a misconception about, what you're gonna have to do is you're going to have to break down their past beliefs and rebuild their belief patterns. So, for example, I'll give you one example. I love the 20% one. People always think that you have to have 20% down. And reality is, you only need 3% down to get your new home, to move into your brand new home. If you're a first-time home buyer, you don't need 20%. So that $500,000 home, you don't need 20% of that. You just need 3% down of that. So you're showing them, you're breaking that down, that belief. If you stop getting coffee for a year at Starbucks, which is like $3 a coffee, and you say $3 for 365 days, you'd be able to afford a brand new home. Pretty doable, right? So you're breaking down their misconception. Oh, laptop's dying. You're breaking down their misconception, and you're rebuilding their belief patterns, all right? So that's what's pretty simple about that. Once you've done that, y'all, here's what you do next. Now we're in the outro, okay? So I love the outros because now you're like, this is where you tell them, for you in this case, for this type of webinar, this is where you tell them, hey, book a time with me. Call me, right? So, after you explain everything, you say, hey, you guys, listen. You know that you could do, you know that you could do 1, 2, and 3. So after you explain the misconceptions and you rebuild the belief patterns, you go into the outros like, hey, thank you so much for listening. You guys know that now you could do X, Y, Z. But let me ask you a question. Okay, and there are different types of closes that you guys should use. And I'm going to give you, some of them that I think you should be using. You could use their 2 choices. You could use the now and later. Or you could use your 2 choices. I'm going to give you guys those 3. Your 2 choices. Okay? There's a bunch of them that you could use here, but I'm going to give you those 3. Okay, so when you're going to go close, and if you guys don't understand this, definitely comment below, ask me, and I'll email you back, or I'll text you back, or you can get on a phone call with me, and then we'll talk about this webinar thing, okay? But one of the closes you could use is their 2 choices. All right, so when you're done with the outro, you're saying, yeah, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. But let me ask you a question. You got 2 choices here. You're paying $3,000. In Boston, you could actually be paying $3,000 for rent, right? So here are your 2 choices. You can continue to pay $3,000 in rent and let the rent increase by 3% or 5% each year, or you can get a mortgage for like $1,000 or $1,500 a month with 3 bedrooms, and it does not increase yearly. Which would you rather choose? Would you rather pay less for more, or more for less? So that's one close, because you're making them think like, damn, yeah, JJ is right. Why would I pay more for less space? My studio, especially in New York, you guys. I'm from New York. A studio is like $5,000 depending where you live. So when you're saying things like that to people, it makes sense. Even in the Midwest, it doesn't matter where you are. I heard you could get a mortgage as low as $750 in the Midwest. That is absolutely crazy. I get like a 4-bedroom. I think that's awesome. But it's the same thing. No matter where you are, rent will always be increasing, and mortgage will always be one time. It's just that one payment each and every month. right? That's the two choices close. Use that close. And then you say, and then you, again, when you do the two choices, you repeat the benefits of getting a home. And then you repeat the benefits of working with you. You say, hey, look, if you get a home, here's what you're going to get, blah, blah, blah. Here's what you get when you work with us. And here's what you can expect. If you're trying to get a home in 30 days, boom, boom. And then you close again. You give them the two choice. You give them the now and later. I'm like, look, you can stay in your home now. You can stay in your apartment now. Sure, that's great. But you're going to continue to, have a hard time finding parking in the wintertime. You're going to get those loud neighbors. You're going to smell those cigarettes. And if you continue to wait, your rent later is going to increase every single year. But here are your two choices. You could either stay in the apartment and be miserable, or you can call us. We can get you home within 30 days, and then you can live the best life possible. All right, so I just used two closes in one. I used the now and later effect, and you can use your two choices. I'm going to give you guys another one. You can use the handhold close as well. See, listen, I get it. Some of you are scared right now. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to start. You've just watched my whole webinar. First of all, I just want to say thank you. But I want to let you know, me, JJ, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I'm going to walk you through the process because I know what it's like to be a first-time home buyer, because that's what I specialize in. I've helped so many people like yourself who are worried, who don't know where to start. But the thing is, I'm going to walk you through. I'm not going to be that mortgage broker that's just going to want your money. It's more than that for me. It's about changing your life. You see, that's the handheld close. Some people are scared. They're nervous to take the jump. I'll give you another one. Let's see. Disposable income. Disposable income. Oh, so people who don't have like a huge savings account, right? You could say something along the lines of, I get it. You're saying that, man, I still don't have, 3% down. It's a lot of money. But let me ask you this. Instead of you go to dinner every week, right? Instead of spending $50 every week or $100 every week for dinner, you're probably working a full-time job. You probably buy lunch all the time. Maybe you get lunch from home. Who knows? But if you are going out, regardless, you're spending at least $50 plus per week. What if you just decided, so you know what? I'm not going to spend money for an entire, for the next 6 months, and you save those $50 per week. What would that help? What would that look like for you if you spend $100 or $200 per month on food, on restaurants and going out? 2 times 6, what is that? That's $1,200 within 6 months. Do you think you could do that? Probably get you mortgage, yeah. So that's obviously you could reword it, make it a little bit better. But that's that. All right. So you guys, pretty much that is the webinar script. Again, I'm going to go over it one more time. I'm going to go over the intro. So bold promise, hook to the end, command attention, qualify yourself, future pay stub, tell them the dream. The content, secret number 1, 2, and 3. Oh, you always got to put 20% down. Oh, if your credit score is trash, you can never get a home. If you're not making enough money, you can never get a home. Those could be like 3 different things that people always think. Then the close. Choose which closes you want, and then once you're done with that, that's when you give them the call to action, right? All right. So if you guys haven't done so already, click the button below. Schedule a time to talk with JJ, the Mortgage Pro, and we will help you buy a home within 30 days. Other than that, you guys, that's pretty much the end of my podcast, and then that will be the end of your webinar. Again, I would love to see a Mortgage Pro do this. I would love to see. I've seen ads for, commercial homes and whatnot. It's not commercial homes, sorry. For commercial real estate, actually. I've seen ads on social media for first-time home buyers, even though I'm not a first-time home buyer, so someone's targeting me incorrectly. And I'm not a property investor either, so I think some of y'all are boosting posts. But the thing is, I would love to see an ad out there of someone doing a webinar, for first-time home buyers. I think that's a really good way to give value to the public. I know a lot of you pretty much, I know some of you just give them, here's like a quick ebook, how to fix your credit score in 5 days. But imagine if you could do webinar instead. I think that would be really good. I would love to see something like that. It's something I would love to test out. All right. Other than that, you guys, peace, love, and chicken grease. If you haven't done so already, if you're new listening to the podcast, head over to uriahmarketing.com. Download your free ebook. Schedule your 15-minute strategy call with me. I will go over everything that you need if you're looking to, build a first-time homebuyer campaign, a VA campaign, or a, whatever type of campaign it is. You and I will sit down over the phone digitally or, digitally over the laptop, and we will build you a custom marketing blueprint plan. I can guarantee you that there won't be any selling this call. It's only all value. All right. Other than that, you guys, I love you, and thank you so much for tuning in. Cheers. Bye.